In Kharkiv, close to the border, Ukrainian soldiers have been fighting relentlessly to defend their country from its neighbour. Years of gruelling war have taken their toll, not only on them, but on Ukraine. The prospect of handing land over to Russia, unimaginable.
How could we just give away our territories? We must go all the way. Too many of our people have already been killed, and many more may die. To make sure their sacrifice is not in vain, we must go to the end.
But it appears for Putin, pursuing peace also means taking full control of parts of Ukraine, an issue apparently raised by the Russian president at his Alaska summit with Donald Trump, where he pushed for a land grab of the occupied regions of Donetsk and Luhansk.
Of course, we respect the position of the American administration, which sees the need for a speedy end to hostilities. We would also like this, and would like to move on to resolving all issues by peaceful means. The conversation was very frank, informative, and in my opinion, it brings us closer to the necessary solutions.
Trump, meanwhile, is reportedly considering the idea of land exchanges and will discuss it with Volodymyr Zelensky when they meet in Washington tomorrow. It is the Ukrainian president's first visit to the US capital since his dressing down in the Oval Office earlier this year.
You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III.
This time round, he'll be accompanied by a group of European leaders, hoping to show a united front. But amid talks and talks about talks, Russia's military campaign continues, with Ukraine yet again facing a moment of peril.
And Fred joins me now. Well, Keir Starmer is chairing a meeting of European leaders this afternoon to discuss the war. Well, Fred, we've heard in the last few minutes that the Prime Minister will also be heading to Washington tomorrow for what's likely to be a very significant meeting.
Yeah, we've just had that news coming through in the last few minutes, and he joins his German and French counterparts, as well as a number of other European leaders who will be in the room when Zelensky and Trump meet tomorrow. And as I mentioned in that piece, the significance of that is this idea of a united front, this idea of the coalition of the willing, this group who support Ukraine, being behind Zelensky when he meets the US president. It's trying to avoid what we saw, as you saw in that piece in February, where some thought there was an ambush of Zelensky by members of Donald Trump's administration and the president himself, and making sure that Ukraine has its voice heard after Putin and Russia had their voice heard by Donald Trump. As you mentioned, the Coalition of the Willing are meeting later today. They'll be talking about two issues, we understand. One of them, whether a security guarantee can be set up after any future peace deal is agreed, but also about making sure that Ukraine's voice is heard in any future talks. And we will be watching very closely tomorrow to see how Donald Trump reacts to what President Zelensky, what those European leaders have to say.